Oh, hey, it's me, Manic Mark, coming to you from the bunker system located underneath the Arville Fountain somewhere in the jungles of the Midwest. I was just munching on a bone of a... never mind about that. Anyway, right after the video from yesterday, because to answer a question on the video yesterday, which people have asked a number of times before, and that is, why don't you post entire albums? Okay. You know, you see that on YouTube and all over the web, and I don't do it. I only post samples or a sample, and on extremely rare occasions, sometimes a full album. But it's got to be a real obscure, usually private press album when I do that sort of thing. And there's reasons why I do that, and that's because it's highly complicated, but copyright's such a weird thing. Even on YouTube, copyright is such a weird thing. It gets to be even stranger on the blogs because you have no idea, no matter how obscure you think the piece of music is that you found, that there are no rights attached to it someplace, that it's just out there to be published by anyone. Okay, but if you're intent on sharing music, and that's the thing. I'm not interested in kind of sharing it like some blogs, which are, you know, run kind of like as a reference library for the entire audio file. I just don't have any interest in doing that, and I'll explain why. But there are copyright reasons why I just don't want to get involved in that sort of thing because of how obscure copyright is. Okay, so what you got is you've got people that actually own the copyright. How do you find out? You can kind of look around on the web and you can make sort of educated guesses that the rights are currently held or not held by the music that's printed, either on CDs and or digital downloads. But even that you can't be sure, because sometimes it's copyrighted, sometimes it's print, which means somebody else is just printing the music, which they don't own the rights. Okay, sometimes the copyright symbol is just thrown in there to confuse you, so you really don't have any idea. But if you pay attention to enough music, you can see certain companies publishing certain music, and you can usually identify whether or not the music is held by an actual concern and copyright is probably paid attention to. All right, so that's just in itself confusing. Plus, I've put samples of what I thought were really obscure music attached to my videos, and suddenly it's not as obscure as I thought. And if you see an ad on the side of a video, you know then for sure it's copyrighted, but you don't know that till you post to the YouTube thing, okay, before they tell you that. Plus, even if you don't see the ad, that doesn't mean that there aren't rights attached, because sometimes a variety of different, it's kind of like a warning, not a flag, but a warning will attach itself to your videos, but there's no ads attached. You see that in the background, you know, in your video manager. All right, it says it's probably okay to use the thing. We'll let you know if that changes, which means it's always in flux. The copyright of anything you put up that you haven't made yourself is always in flux. And if you've sung a cover of My Way, that's going to get, you can't advertise on that, because even that, the song is copyrighted, okay? And YouTube runs algorithms on everything. They scan everything that goes up, and they're going to see it, no matter how horrible you butcher the song. And give you a warning. They're not going to let you advertise, you know, on that video. I don't bother advertising, by the way. I tried that, and I gave up on it. So if you see an advertisement, sometimes it's because they see something in your video, and never mind. I'm cutting that out because that's a completely different. The advertising thing is a completely different subject matter. Okay, so should I even mention digital? In digital rights management groups, they really confuse me, because I have no idea really what the hell they're doing. I think what happens is they've got the rights to the song and they're managing it for people that own the rights and making money, and then they send them a check or something like that. But I don't know if it's just, obviously it's copyrighted material, but is it also just material that people print and have them manage for them? So that creates a whole problem for me whenever I'm trying to figure out what's covered by rights, you know, still. Also, the owner of the copyright may not have done anything with the files yet. You know, whatever they've got, they just could be sitting around and they don't care. That doesn't mean they don't own the rights. And then like a year later, sometimes I'll post something on YouTube, and a year later they're going to say, hey, this thing is, you know, they'll come warn me. So it's, you never know. Anyway, so would be one reason why I just don't get involved in posting entire albums. There's server issues on the blog, there's space issues, there's time issues. It takes a lot more time to figure it all out. But on a personal level, I like to, when I listen to an album, I pick a sample. I know it's based on my taste, right? Okay. And I think that's why people like to listen to the entire album, all right? Because they want to make the decision in their own heads, and I understand that. But for me, an album can be good all the way through, therefore one track can be representative of the album, or the album might not be good all the way through, and that one track that I publish might be the only one of particular interest to people, more interest. And if if I published a whole album, you might not ever get to that because you might get bored to that track, right? So then I just pick out the one that has some quirkiness to it, and I attach that. Okay, I like to keep the video short. Speaking just of the videos and not of the blog. What else? There was one other thing. Sometimes a commercial album is not completely obscure, and on YouTube the whole album and or tracks can be found. But however, maybe not a lesser track that has still has a certain kind of quirky quality to it, or maybe it's been overlooked and it's quirky and it's been overlooked. There's something interesting in the sound, so I'll pick that one as kind of like as the sample because it hasn't been heard as much as the other stuff. So to sum it all up, it's just a quagmire of screwage with no centralized database that you can go to figure anything out, and it's just like waiting for a time bomb to go off because feelings, whoa, 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 feelings.
Feelings, nothing more than feelings, trying to forget my feelings of love. Teardrops rolling down on my face, trying to forget my feelings of love. Feelings, for all my life I'll feel it. I wish I never met you, girl. You'll never come again. Feelings, whoa, 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 feelings, whoa, 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 feelings, these feelings of love. Feelings like I never lost you, and feelings like I never have you here in my arms. Feelings, whoa, 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 feelings, whoa. again in my life. No, no, no. Feelings, whoa, 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 feelings, whoa, 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 feelings. These feelings are love.